What's going on, Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Game Time 123. And webcam, where did we go? Today we're doing the second deck that I've been creating that is going to be the Stormbound deck. This entire deck is based on creating a bunch of duplicates. That's the objective here. We're going to see where is the so here we are. We're going to be looking at all these cards. This basic idea of the deck is it's a commander deck that has a bunch of different commanders. The objective of the deck is to create a bunch of creatures that duplicate and do extra abilities. It does a lot of extra spell abilities. And that's the idea. So we get to go over the first one here. It is called, the first card we're going to hit is called Raise the Water. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gets hexproof into end of turn. Pretty similar card, actually, in Magic already, but this is just gives the creature hexproof and gives +1/+1 till end of turn. This deck does have a lot of things to target creatures that you control, if you want to make it. So this was just Raise the Water, and every one of these cards has the Stormbound basics. I don't recall exactly which number of cards there are for each one for the entire deck, but it's an interesting deck for this one. Card number 2 is Dancing Merfolk, which has Duplicate. Duplicate is the main effect in this set. Duplicate basically says when you can cast a spell for its duplicate cost instead of whatever its normal cost is. If you do, you get a copy of that creature, so you get 2 copies of this exact same creature, and with all the effects and everything like that. You can't duplicate it a second time. Duplicate doesn't work a second time. That would cost you a lot of mana, even if you were able to do that. And what happens though is if your instant or sorcery was to target one of the copies, then it's copied on the other one as well. So it gives you additional effects that occur on that very specific effect. And a lot of this deck is Merfolks, and I think Merfolks and Sharks are the main factors of this deck. The next card we got is a Group of Sharks. It's a shark that you can it's a 2-cost card. It's a 4/3. Sacrifice a card, a creature, in addition to this card's mana cost. It has Trample. Sounds a little bit of weird for an actual effect, but it has Trample, and it gets +1/+1 for each other shark you control. It's not. You get a lot. You need to have a lot of sharks in order for it to work out for your favor. Next card we're going to get is going to be Anilo Restorm. It has Duplicate as well. When you draw your second card each turn, you put a 1/1 counter on a target non-token creature. So you can do it on this creature or any other creature that's not duplicated or another creature effect. So you can put it on any creature that's not a token. Now, Duplicate does have one major disadvantage, because if you create a copy of this creature, then you're going to be creating a copy of Legendary Creature, which unfortunately doesn't work. So you'll have to only choose one of the cards to be able to work with this one. And this one is you can get an additional copy of it, but currently, as we've seen so far, that would mean that that card, the copy of it, would have to die, or the original copy would stay in effect. Next card we're going to get is going to be Merfolk Dragon. There is a Merfolk, a dragon in every one of these sets. There was one Haunted, which was the last one we did. That's going to be located somewhere. Here. It has hexproof. When it attacks, you draw 2 cards. When it deals combat damage to a player, plus 2 encounters on two target different creatures. And basically, you put 2 1/1 counters on 2 different creatures. It's an 8/14 creature. It's expensive to get on the field, and thank God it doesn't have duplicate, because if it had duplicate, that would be crazy. Good thing you have a copy of that creature, because that would be ridiculous for that one. The next card we got is Reef Whisperer. It's double strike. It's a 2/2 double strike creature. It's an artifact creature. Not much anything special off of this creature, so it's just it's a Merfolk. That's an artifact creature that has double strike. That's all it is for that one. We got Sea Attacker, which also has duplicate. It's a Merfolk warrior. You can pay 6 and a blue to duplicate it to create 2 3/2s with first strike. And same thing occurs with that one. Duplicate is a very weird effect, but you can cast it for a duplicate cost, and you get a copy of it. And when an instant sorcery targets it, or then you get a copy of that spell on the copy of it. So you're only going to have 1 copy of this effect on it, and it really only works if you target the one creature that you didn't copy. But it works in a way that you're going to have a bunch of different effects that go on a creature like this. We got Siren Knight. This says, whenever Siren Knight attacks, add 2 blue. You don't lose this mana at steps and phase ends. So you're going to keep that mana, I believe it is long until the end of your turn, if I understand how that works. You can duplicate it to make an attack, so you get an extra 4 mana until the end of the turn, and then boom, you have a free 4 mana. So basically, you could play another one of these if you had to. Now, because of the commander deck, and to our intended to be a commander deck, it is not going to. It'll be very interesting, but also you're going to only be able to make 2 copies of it anyway, generally, as of current standings. We get our next card. We get ourselves, it's Magic of the Merfolk. It is a creature. It's target creature gets +2/+2, and you get a place 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creating Merfolk. So basically, you can make a Merfolk +3/+3. In theory, you can make a Merfolk +2/+2, make a copy of that Merfolk +2/+2, and then you put 1/1 counter on each one of them, if they're both Merfolks. So that is a pretty powerful spell. I don't even know how to explain this one, but something Aqua Shower. It's a legendary artifact creature that can't be blocked, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to the player or planeswalker, place a 1/1 counter on that creature. It's a legendary artifact creature, so it gets destroyed by artifacts, by creature spells. It is expensive as well, but it does do on. And there is a little bit of you can see. Sometimes there's going to be cards like that. That I will correct those things at another time. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We get Drown. That is a sorcery that says, To deal 3 damage to target creature and you can recast it for 1 plus X. Now recast, for anyone who hasn't seen that before, I believe it was in the Haunted as well. The way it works, recast, is that you get to choose one. You will pay blue in this case, and then you pay the X for the number of times it's been cast. So if it has been cast, it only costs blue. If it's been cast 1 time, it costs 2, and so on and so forth until you hit where you can't do it anymore. It goes to now. Whenever a card that is cast, it goes to your graveyard. You can recast it from your graveyard. It costs more the more times you use it. I don't really know if this is an accurate statement on it or not, but it works somehow. We got Merfolk Strike. Deal X damage to any target and then draw a card. Mystical Colors is just so you basically pay a lot more for it and then you get to draw a card. Is basically you could play it in a deck that doesn't match the card types. I don't know how Mystical Colors works because it doesn't really do much in this deck because these decks are all single colors minus the colors effect, but it does have a interesting effect for it to be Mystical Colors. If you're playing but you have to have a commander in order for it to work, so that would be Brawl, a Command, or anything. You still have to pay cards and mana costs, so you still have to have a way to pay for it. So it may not be very good. Next card we get is Moon Temple. Oh, it's a mythic legendary artifact, hexproof. Whenever you draw a card, place a 1/1 counter on target creature, and you can tap it to draw a card. Yikes! This card might be broken. I mean, it is legendary artifacts, so you're not going to get more than one of them, but your one creature is going to get really powerful, and that doesn't help you when it's hexproof. Better be countering it whenever it comes to the field, otherwise you might lose. Next card we got is Mara the Merfolk. Wait, Maria, I don't know what that is. So this one, and every one of these decks has commanders that can be, there are planeswalkers that can be commanders. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it can be, so this card can be your commander, and it's +1, draw a card, and then discard a card unless it has 4 or more loyalties, so it's going to take at least 3 turns before you have to discard a card. It only costs 2, and honestly, I don't know how it's very good, especially since my 5 would create a 4/4 Shark, which is something you can create in this deck, but it's not exactly a very good card. I don't think it's a very good commander to play, even if it's a rare. It's a shark, 4/4 Shark. It's a blue shark. Nothing else is going to talk about that. Pearlberry, a beauty. Pureberry, when beauty enters, we place a 1/1 counter on another target Merfolk control. There is cards that do similar things to that, so it just fits. But it says another target Merfolk, so it can't be itself. So it's going to be a 1/2 when it enters. And something else is going to be more powerful. I will point out that with duplicate, abilities that trigger it do not work. It only works for instants and sorceries. So this would have no effect. You could place a 1/1 counter on a creature that has duplicate or duplicated. It won't do anything. Oh, yeah. So this is the main creature in this deck. Miss Soul, Fortune of the Land. Oh, this is fun. So you duplicate it, playing 3 blue instead of its 2 blue, which probably honestly means this card's probably a little bit more powerful. And the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control, so you have infinite duplicates, technically, if you had it. and then return target permanent to your hand and recast it for free once per turn. Activate on level. That's only as a sorcery. I mean, for 2 mana? Oh my goodness. It says target permanent, so goodness. That card might be insane. I don't know, but that card, it might be a little broken here. I may have to up. It's legendary. The legend rule doesn't apply, so if you get duplicate, oh my goodness. I think I may make this card. This card might be really broken. I don't know. That card seems to be a little bit overpowered. For an uncommon, that's ridiculous. Mythic, I could see it maybe, but even then, return a target permanent to your hand and then recast it for free. Okay, so there is one point though. It does say recast it for free, which means duplicate would not work in this case, because returning something to your hand and recasting it means you get to just, it's basically just an exile and flash it back in. Basically, it's flash back in. The duplicate cost would not work in this case. So, yeah, I can see how that might not be as broken as I thought it was. It still probably needs to be released a rare. We got Queen of Merfolks. Other Merfolk, it's a mythic. Other Merfolks get +1/+1. You can tap 3 other creatures, and it can't be blocked and it's indestructible on your turn. So you can tap 3 and it gets, wow. So it gets, you tap 3 other creatures, and then it can't be blocked and it becomes indestructible on your turn. Now, technically, you can activate this on your opponent, on your opponent's turn, but it doesn't really help you because it can't be blocked as indestructible on your turn. It doesn't really work on your opponent's turn. It's an interesting effect, though. Walk on Water. It's 3 costs. You can recast it for at least 3. Target creature can't be blocked until end of turn. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. You can make a creature unblockable. Can't be blocked until end of turn. It's good, I guess, in a really late game, but probably not very good early game, which is why it's a common. Next one we got is Power Up. Target creature gets +3/+3, so it's a Giant Growth, except it costs 2 blue. Oh, it's a sorcery also, so you can't cast it during your opponent's turn. Still, Power Up sorcery +3/+3. Pretty good. If you target one of your creatures that's duplicated, you got 2 creatures that have +3/+3. Trident. Equip creature gets +2/+1. And equip it for 1 or equip a creature for 3. So you can equip it to creatures that are not Merfolks. But +2/+1. Not exactly a very good equipment card, but it's not terrible. Oh, Silver the Wave. You can duplicate it for 5 and 3 blue. So you get 2 copies of a 2/6 creature. When you draw a card, you may place a magic counter on a target creature. Remove a magic counter when it's targeted with a spell. So magic counters are a new effect that's in here. If you target with a spell, whether if it's destroying it, it doesn't matter what it is, then it gets removed. So even if you target it with a spell, so if your creature gets +3 says, Hey, target creature gets +2/+3. Cool. It's now also losing a magic count. I mean, it's targeted with spell. It doesn't matter what if you targeted it or your opponent did it. It's kind of like a non-permanent. It's a minimal. It's how to say this, non-permanent hexproof. Basically, it doesn't really. It only work. It just works for one turn. It's a hexproof counter for one turn, basically. Search the land. Oh yeah. Search your library for an island card and put it into your hand. Those untap 2 lands or draw a card and you get to choose one of them. Not very good. It doesn't really do much. Which is why it's so common, because it's not very good. It could be good because if you had a way of casting multiple of these, which you can't because it's a commander deck, you could draw a card. You could search the library for an island, or you can tap 2 lands. So, in theory, you could just infinitely do this if you had enough copies of this. In theory. Magic of the Waters. Oh, it's an emblem. Yeah, this is an emblem on one of the creatures. When you draw a card, place a magic counter on target creature. I think it's one of the emblems that's in here. Land of Water. Oh, enchant a creature. When a creature enters, place a magic counter on a creature. Yeah, it says it. And creatures with 1 or more magic counters get +1/+1. It gives you a little bit of benefit. It's not very good. It's just giving creatures an extra hexproof, basically, and they get a little more powerful. Elvel? Oh, it's a human ally. Whenever this, it has rally. Whenever this creature or another ally enters battlefield, I don't know if there's very many in this set, in the actual deck. Enter under your control, place a magic counter on each creature you control. And each creature with a magic counter has haste. So this creature's gonna has haste. Everything else that enters is gonna have haste. That's an ally. If you have an ally enters. It's not a very good one, but it's very good rare, but it does have some decent effects. Next card is going to be Magical Bond. Okay. This is weird. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and loses all their abilities unless it has a magic counter on it. And it has Ward 1. This card has Ward 1. What? So, if it has a magic counter on it, which is possible, then it loses all abilities. It doesn't lose any abilities. But if it has a magic counter on it, then it gets +2/+2 and doesn't have any abilities, which is weird. But, okay. I hope I said that right. Probably didn't, but whatever. Atlantis. It's a Merfolk ally. When Atlantis or another ally enters battlefield under your control, search your library for a land card and place it onto the battlefield tapped. You can duplicate it. I didn't put the duplicate thing on this one. For 4, landfall whenever a land enters battlefield, untap a land you control. So basically get free untap whenever a land enters battlefield. Interesting card, not very good. Maybe if you duplicate it, it's gonna be ridiculous, but you know. Water Uprise. Destroy up to 1 creature. When this creature dies this turn, that creature's controller gets a 4/4 blue shark token, so you can destroy something that's really giving you problems and give them a 4/4 shark token instead. Might not be a very good card. I don't know. That doesn't sound very good. Water Possession. Okay, there's a possession card of ease in every one of these decks. This card says, gain control of a target creature until end of turn. If it was kicked, untap that creature. If it was kicked, you create a copy of that creature under your control. So you're going to gain control of a creature, then you create a copy of that creature, and then it goes back. It doesn't give your creature haste, unfortunately, but it does allow you to get additional copy, which is like an additional blocker if you really need it. Don't know how good that is. The Reef. Creature you control gets +1/+1. That's super useful. That's all. It just says that can be good. I don't know how good it is. Reverse the Water. As an additional cost to spell, discard 2 cards. Draw 4 cards. I don't want those. Okay. Draw 4 cards. Wow. So discard 2 cards, draw 4 cards. It is a interesting card for this one. Not a very good card necessarily, but it's a pretty decent card. So you have to have 2 cards in your hand, discard, you have to have 3 cards in your hand, because you played this one for 3, then you discard the other 2 cards in your hand, then you draw 4 more cards, which could be really good. I don't know. Water Orb. Add 2 blue, spend this mana only to cast a Merfolk or a legendary permanent. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know. Hit by magic. Destroy target creature. Oh, yes, this is fun. Destroy target creature. At the end of your turn, you may pay 2 and 2 blue to return a spell to your hand. So if you have 6 mana, you can just continuously destroy creatures. Which is ridiculous. It's an instant. It does say at the end of it would be the end of your turn. It does say your turn, but it's your turn. But that's 6 mana. And it actually says at the end of your turn, you may repay it. So you actually can you only have to have 4 mana for the spell, because all you have to do is at the end of your turn, you can pay that, return to your hand, you can do it. It's a pretty powerful spell. Magic Typhoon. Oh, sorcery. Return all non-land permanents to its owner's hands. Each player may cast up to 2 permanents to the battlefield untapped for free. So you get to return everything to your opponent's hands, which means they might have discard cards, and then you get to play 2 permanents or whatever you want. You can't duplicate in this case, but you get to play up to 2 permanents that are not lands up onto it for free, which could be good. I don't know. That might be good. That might not be good. I don't know how to say that's good or not. It's mythic, so it probably is good. Next card, Wall of Water. Oh. Yeah, so you can recast this for 1 and X. Block all combat damage this turn. It's basically a fog. That's all it is. Block all combat damage this turn. It doesn't work for things like shock and those sort of things like that, but it does work for anything, for any combat. It's a sorcery also. Yeah, it's bad. That's awful. I guess it will work in one thing, though. It's like your creatures won't die if it did, because no damage is dealt. That's actually not a great card. Why would I want to recast that? I don't know. Suspend Water. 3 blue. Tap our creature and put a stun counter, 4 stun counters on that creature. It's a little delay tactic. Oof, that's not bad. Not great, but it's not bad. Moonkip is an artifact creature that has duplicate. It's a Merfolk ally. It does not have any effects when it goes into play, because it's not one of those kind of creatures. It has duplicate, so you get 2 triggers off of anything that's an ally. If you play a duplicate cost, which would make sense. Why wouldn't you do that? Place a magic card on target creature control, which is good, I guess. I don't know. That's not bad, I guess. Double. Oh, gosh. This is a terrifying spell. So you get to pay either 2 life or 1 blue, which is ridiculous. You choose 2 of these. Double target creature's power, double target creature's toughness, double target number of counters on target creature, double the next spells that you cast this turn. Imagine if I do doubles. Oh my goodness, that would be ridiculous. The good thing is the commander deck, you can't do that. But look at this. You choose 2 of them. So you could basically double your creature's power and double creature's toughness. And it's an instant, so you can do it at any time. So that's could be really good. Merfolk Transformation. Okay, this is weird. You can duplicate it for 7 instead of the 4. Places a magic counter on each creature you control for 3. And each creature gets +1/+1 for each magic counter on that creature, which might be ridiculous. It's a 5/7. Good grief, I don't even know. that's ridiculous. I'm gonna say that's definitely mythic for sure, if not more. Yikes for that one. Next card is going to be Dance of the Merfolk. It's an enchantment that says enters with X magic counters. You can move a magic counter to another Merfolk or to any target creature, which is good. That really helps you get make sure your creatures don't get destroyed, I guess. Cat Merfolk. Why is this even a thing? Cat Merfolk. It costs 6 for mana cost. And each creature gets enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it. It's a common. Yeah, it's a 1/7. So, yeah, okay. So here's the effect of this one though, because if you cast Duplicate, this one doesn't enter with a counter. The Duplicate will enter with a counter, because it will. Actually, no, they'll probably enter the same time, as they probably don't get the counters. But could be really good. Could be ridiculously good. Merfolk Dagger. Oh, a quick creature gets +1/+1 and can't be blocked. Quick for 4. Seems interesting. Okay. Double attack. Target creature gets double strike until end of turn. There's not much to say about that. Double strike is whenever the creature attacks, it deals its damage first before creatures that have first strike, and if it has first strike, it deals damage before creatures before it has any effects. So like Death Touch wouldn't work in this case. Or things that would affect first would not work in that case. It does double damage to a player too. Oh, Land Shark. Chamber creature, add 2 blue. Pay 1, add 2 blue. Yeah, this is weird. You pay 1, add 2 blue. Tab ability, so you can't do it more than once. Merfolk Shark. It's a shark merfolk. I don't know how those things work together. And there's taps 3/7 for 4 mana. That is, yeah, that's weird. Enters tapped. That's all you need to know. Frozen Underwater. Oh, target creature can't attack or block. So this is pack. I can't pronounce it, but it basically means your creature can't attack or block. That's all it does. It's not a very good card, but it's a common, and it works out well somewhat. Mistbloom. When it enters, you draw a card. It has hexproof. Not a very good card for 3 mana, but you can draw a card and it has hexproof, so I guess that's not terrible, but it's a common. Not a very good card. Attack of the Sharks. Target creature can't be blocked until end of turn, but tapping it with 3 mana. I don't know how good that card is. For 6 mana to pay for 3, I don't know. That's not bad. But, goodness. Summon the Shark. You create a 4/4 Shark. Recast it for 1 for at least 2. Cool. It doesn't do much. Giant Shark. It's an 8/8 Shark that costs 6. Whenever Giant Shark deals damage to a player, you draw a card. Not much off of that, but it has Trample and it's an 8/8, so that's a huge creature off of that effect. Ooh, it's a Giant Shark. Shark Bite. Deal 3 damage to target creature. Recast it. It costs X and a blue. Not much off that cat. Not really that much. It's just 3 damage to target creature. Water Magic. A enchant creature gets +2/+2. Not much else to say about that. Jennifer, Lover of Water. It's an enchantment creature for your ally. Whenever it enters or another creature enters, you get to search your library for an island card. Just an island card. Now, I don't think there's any special islands in this deck, but Hexproof 1/6. Not very good card, I don't think. It's not bad. It's an enchantment creature. But, you know, it has another one of those cards. Water Blessing. When an island enters the battlefield, draw a card. Cool. You get to draw a card when an island enters. Which most of these sets are going to probably have only one basic lands in it. So, now I will say this. In the Haunted deck, there was Haunted Swamps. They are just basic swamps. There's no extra effects on it. One with the water. A enchant creature can't be blocked and has hexproof. Good grief. Cool. That's not bad. 2 mana for enchant creature can't be blocked and has hexproof. That might be a little bit powerful. The Storm. Oh, this has duplicate as well. It's an illusion. Defender. 0/10. Flying. You can duplicate it for 7. And when you cast a spell, so it's just a 0/10 creature that's flying. That's really all it is. It's not a very good card. Next card we get is Stormstalker. Oh goodness. So basically it's flying and trample. It has flying and trample, and it enters with X1 counters. So basically, this card is going to be a minimum. How do I say this? It's going to be if you pay 3 mana for it, it's a 1/1 creature with flying and trample. That doesn't really do much. I don't think it's a very good card for a rare, but you know it's not bad. It's not a bad card. The Water Bowmaster. It's a human elf archer. It has reached vigilance and you get to draw a card from 2. Not great. Not a great card. I think we've got 16 more cards to go or somewhere around there. Counterstorm. Counters target spell unless the opponent plays either 1 and 2 life or 1 and a blue. So basically counter the counterstorm with a counterstorm. Basically. That's basically what it is. Close Call. Okay, this is a weird one. Counter target spell that targets creature control. Which is flash. You can do it any time. Yeah, it's interesting. Not very good card, I don't think, but it's not bad. Water Separate. Return 3 creatures to your hand for 4 mana. So you could return... That actually doesn't quite work because I was thinking that you could you return all the ones that are not duplicated. But the problem is if you target them, then all your creatures go away anyway. So that would probably not work out too well. Yeah, so maybe not a good card. You do ones that are not duplicated, I guess. Storm of Counter. Counter target creature spell. If you successfully counter that creature spell, place a 1/1 counter on target creature control. It's a better counter spell, basically. Human of Magic. Human Magic says target creature gets haste until end of turn for 3, or you can return target creature to your hand and place any creature. So basically, it's ninjutsu. Though it has less mana cost than that creature's mana cost. So, doesn't say equal, has that less than to the battlefield. So, you could, in theory, you could do any creature. You can't duplicate it, unfortunately, but it might work. Merfolk Castle, Merfolks get +1/+1. Nothing special about that one. Whirlwind, it has mystical color as well. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Cool. That's not much. It just returns a creature to the opponent's hand, to the player's hand. Oh, Magical Thread. There's actually not a lot of targeting spells in this set, in this deck. Target creature gets +1, gains hexproof, and gets X+X until end of turn, which means you just pay whatever it is. So it gets plus something, depending on how much you pay for it. Shellcaster. It's another Merfolk ally. It has Vigilance, and you can duplicate it for 7 mana. When you cast a spell, you may draw a card. So you don't have to draw a card. But goodness, I think there's only 3 cards left in this set, in this deck. But goodness, that could be ridiculously good. I don't know if blue is going to work out well. Tower of Water. When you draw a card, create a 4/4 shark. Oh my goodness. Hunter and Merfolk. Oh, you can have as many copies of this card. You can duplicate it as well. Oh my goodness. Each shark and each Merfolk get +1/+1. It only triggers once, I believe. I don't think it triggers twice, but or maybe it triggers twice. So your creature. So if you keep duplicating this, you got 10 Let's say you play this, you get duplicated. It has 5. You can have another copy of it for 5 more. You might have 4 copies of this for just 10 for 5 mana. That could be ridiculous. It's an artifact creature, so you can target it. And each Merfolk and each shark and Merfolk get +1/+1. I think it just triggers once, but that's still ridiculous. Approach the tower. You can only spend blue mana to cast a spell. Target creature can +X minus X until end of turn. Gosh. Well, that could be useful. And then you have our islands. I think there's one more card. Oh yeah, there is one more. I gotta put this later because I misnamed this card. Merfolk the Adventurer can be your commander, and you can just draw 2 cards for +1, which is really good. Or you can -6 it at some point to put an emblem that says you saw that card earlier. You can get a magic counter, and when you draw a card, place a magic card on target creature control. That is it for the blue deck. The next one I'll be doing is the green one, and then we're going to have the red one and the white one. Eventually, I'm not going to reveal anything about those cards. That's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I will say, real quickly before we go into it, I think it's going to be a few more weeks before I go to that. So next week will be the Balanced School, episode number 44. There's no stream on the 7th. There's going to be no stream. Actually, there's only going to be one stream during the month of December, and that's going to be Reforged in the 14th. The reason why is because I'm just not going to be available that much for it, and we'll see what happens in next year. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to keep gaming on, and have a good night.